My name is Victoria. I was born in Colombia, but I lived in Pasadena, in Los Angeles. I met Stefanos through my husband, through Kostas. We were at a Greek party in Los Angeles, and Stefanos approached me, and I remember he said to Kostas, "Oh, this is your wife. It's very nice to meet you." And he said, "I want to talk to you about business." And this is the first time I met him, and he's telling me that he wants to talk about business. And next thing you know, he became my boss, my friend, my mentor. And my trainer and my guide. He guided me in many aspects of my life. My first impression when I saw him was, obviously, he's big and strong. I remember his jaw, it was such an impressive jaw, and his features are so strong. And I remember thinking, I've seen this face before. I remember seeing this face before. And at the end of the party, I asked Kostas, I said, his face looks familiar to me. I mean, I've seen that face before. He said, yeah, he's done movies. And then I remember the scene of him fighting in the sauna. And I said, that's where I've seen him. So that was my first impression of him. So when he said he wanted to talk business, I never imagined that he wanted me to work for him. And he meant it. He had this dream. And later on, after we met, and he talked to me about the dream, I was fully on board. I said, I want to be part of this dream. I want to make it happen. I don't know if I have all the experience that you need for this, but I'm going to give it my all. And he said to me, no, you have it. I know you do. And we began working together, and it was a long process. But in that process, we spent so many days together, from morning until night. And we talked about everything. We talked about love. We talked about politics. We talked about life, philosophy. He told me everything about the Greek gods and democracy and Aristotle. And sometimes he lost me because he talked so much, and he was very soft-spoken. And I could and I'm a woman also, so I could hear him. And then I would go back and try to interact with him and tell him something, and he would look at me. He would just sort of nod, and then he would go back to what he was saying. Because, I try to change the topic a little bit to get into something different. But that's the way he was. When he would tell you stories, he would just go on and tell you stories. And it didn't matter if you changed the topic. He would just go back to where he was and sort of look at you like, are you not realizing what I'm telling you? This is important. So when I say this, I don't say it lightly. I definitely mean this. And I know that he knows this. The impact that he had in my life was so big that the person that I am now and the values that I have now began with him, began with the conversations that he had with me about politics, about what it meant to him to be an American. He loved being an American, but he loved being a Greek. But he was proud of where he came from and where he was, and of his journey, and of democracy, and how democratic America was, and how it was deviating from what true democracy was. And I remember just being a very far left liberal and listening to him speak about conservative values and thinking, what is wrong with this man? And then slowly, I began to understand exactly where he was coming from and what he meant. And it all just boils down to doing the right thing, doing what is right. It's not about black or white. I mean, it is about black and white, but it's about what's right and what's wrong. And that's what he was about, doing right, doing what was right. That story about Stefanos. We had so many different moments together. And they're all kind of getting muddled in my head. I remember I surprised him one for his birthday. And we were all working at the gym. And I asked one of the chefs that was working for us to make a cake for him. And it was a cake that was a boxing ring. And it had 2 gloves in the middle. And I invited all of his friends that I knew at the time. And I remember planning for him to not be at the gym and to try to sneak everyone in without him seeing them. And somehow I made it happen. And when he walked in, we all screamed, "Surprise!" And his face was sort of like, he was in shock. And he was a man that didn't show emotion. But that day, I remember feeling that he was truly surprised. And he was sort of shaking his head like why are you all here? And that was one of the few times I saw him smile and really smile from the gut. And he just looked at me and shook his head and went, "You crazy Colombian." That was a beautiful moment. In one sentence, he was a gentle giant, an unconditional, honorable, gentle giant. Honorable. He was all about honor. Honor meant everything to him. To be honest with you, I think Stefanos treated everyone the same. He was as gentle with women as he was with men. I don't think he ever held a woman in a chokehold, but he just treated everyone the same. We used to live a couple blocks away from him, and I have regrets. I have many regrets about not spending more time with him after I left, after I stopped working for him. But when I was home and I wasn't traveling, I used to walk my dog and I would see Stefanos training people. And after he was gone, I would walk the same path and he wasn't there. And I kept hoping to see him maybe around the corner, but he wasn't there. I miss that. I miss learning from him. He taught me a lot. He was the male figure that I looked up to as an older brother, as a father, as a friend. He just encompassed so much for me, and it's hard to, you don't realize what you have in a person until they're gone. And I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that I didn't realize how much I had in him until he was gone. But I know that he would be really happy to know that I'm here with his mom and with his sister and his uncle and his family, walking the same steps that he used to walk.
wherever you are, Stefanos. I love you. I don't think I ever said it to you, but I love you. And I miss you, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't spend more time with you. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. I know I'm gonna see you soon.